Hello. Nice to finally meet you guys. This is going to be about an hour of an orientation, and I have a couple things I want to do during it. And you can feel free to do something else while you're watching it, as long as you're listening. Um, I want to talk about myself first because I want you all to know who I am. Um, and I'm an attorney. Uh, I'm licensed to practice in three of our states here in the United States. Um, the main one that I live in and practice in is Delaware, and that's sort of where I'm starting with my marketing and advertising. And then if I continue to do well, I'll roll out across all the states that I'm licensed to practice. Um, I told you I'm a solo firm, so it's just me, and I'm relatively low budget, so I'm working at a handicap. A lot of the firms are much bigger than me, have much more power, much more ability to get clients. Um, I'm very dependent on doing a good job, word of mouth, and I think the great equalizer can be SEO, which I hope you all know is search engine optimization. And even some of these big firms, uh, they don't have it, they don't know how to do it that well. So there are opportunities for me to break in and get a steady client base. And like most firms, I have my website, which you've all seen at least, which I think it's like, it looks okay, but it's not what I want it to be. Um, that's one way. Of course, you have to drive people to the website, as you know, which can be done by advertising, AdWords, or something like that. I don't really have a budget for that right now. That can get very expensive, but at a bare minimum, I want to do a good bit of organic work on it so that as best as possible it comes up, hopefully for keywords such as now I mostly practice family law. So now these aren't the official keywords I'm going to give you, but keywords like family law lawyer Delaware, Delaware family law lawyer in Delaware. I also do personal injury law, and I'll take a step back. If you're not familiar with law, just think of family law as anything that has to do with marriages, divorces, wives, husbands, kids, custody, alimony, uh, prenuptial agreements, fighting between people who are intimately associated. And then, of course, personal injury, you know what that is because it's personal injury. But that includes medical malpractice, and some other areas that are very complicated. And I'm just one guy. And I also left myself an opening. I also say that I do general civil litigation. So, really, what I'm saying is that I'll do anything except for criminal. And I've taken a few criminal cases too. So, that might be a bit undisciplined of me, but so by and large, I consider it to be a general practice law firm. Um, I'm, but family law is what I'm putting the time in, and I have some contracts to give me leads for family law. That's really where it's at. That's what I'm doing right now. But so that's like who I am. Very little experience. My life has been, it's too long. I mean, everyone's life is too long and complicated. But I mean, like, I've well, I'm a recovering alcoholic, for one. Lucky to be alive. Very lucky to be alive. 10 years ago, you might have found me face down in a train station or a subway in the middle of winter, maybe getting frostbite with my hand over the edge of the the landing, and I got 3 DUIs. I got into a fight with a cop outside a bar. I was throwing my life away so fast. And I managed to catch it in about 2012. I stopped drinking, and I haven't drank in about 6 or 7 years, and that's good. But I've had to do a lot of damage control. I have a bit of a reputation, and I'm trying to step outside of that. I even had to change my name. I wasn't born Jackson Phillips. I chose it for damage control, because Delaware is a very small state and everyone knows everyone. But I turned it around, but it took me about a decade to prove to the important people who make decisions that I had turned it around. So for the past decade, I've been fighting committees after committees, trying to fight so that I could be given the chance to be admitted. When I was admitted, nobody would hire me, and that's why I started my own firm. I'm starting my own firm without the benefit of mentors or anyone telling me what to do other than what I can read in a book or look for myself when I go to a courtroom. And that's why you all come in, because anyone can only do so much. And I mean, anybody in the world can only do so much, and the stress of trying to figure out how to be a lawyer and then how to do all of this stuff on the computer, which I've done a good bit of. It's just too much for me. And because I believe all three of you are out of country, it's much cheaper, just the way that it is, labor. So I wanted to ask for some help. So that's who I am. That's where I am. What about my vision for my law firm? I don't know how much you guys know about the United States of America, but even though we're a rich country, wealth is not distributed equally at all. So you have very rich people and very poor people, and we call it the upper class, middle class, the lower class. The lower class and the middle class can barely afford a lawyer usually. To put it in perspective, a hard-working, maybe lower middle class family, middle class worker might make $500 a week, whereas many attorneys charge more than $500 an hour. So anyone who's lower class, and most people who are middle class, can never get a lawyer, not for a civil case where they don't have a constitutional right. I think that's very wrong. I think that the law should be available to everybody when they need it. It should be the one thing that equalizes people. We live under the same laws, same opportunities, at least under the law, the same opportunities. That's not the way that it is right now. It's if you've got money, you buy the best lawyer, and you win, usually. The price, like I said, of law firms and lawyers, lawyers routinely charge, around where I live, $200, $300, $400 an hour. Go up to New York City, our country's biggest city, $600, $700, $800 an hour, when a good bit of the people are only making $500 a week of hard labor. And on top of that, lawyers aren't doing good enough when they're charging that money. a lot of the times you'll pay top dollar and the lawyer will pass it off on a first year associate who doesn't know what he's doing, but yet you're still being billed $800 an hour. Oftentimes you can't get in touch with your lawyer. You're paying $800 an hour and you can't get in touch with your lawyer. And that world is everything that I stand against. I believe in bringing the law back to the people where I believe it's supposed to be. And our country, I don't know about your countries, we are a capitalist country, which means, as I'm sure you know, that it's all about business and individual ambition, and that's what we value, even when it ends up leaving vast segments of our population without a chance, and then we judge them for it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not, I like capitalism, but it has to come along with morality and restraint. Meaning, just because one man can take over all the resources in 20 square miles and then charge through the roof and impoverish everybody else, that doesn't mean he should. See, we've corrupted capitalism to the point where we all think it means get everything that you can for you because you can. That's what it's about. Individual, like, no, it can be about both. And my problem is with attorneys' fees. And then I also have a problem with the level and the lack of civility and niceness in the profession. Many lawyers are just assholes. The way they treat other lawyers, they treat their secretaries, they treat anyone they can get away with. So everyone but the judge. They treat them like shit. And I stand against all of that. I stand for lawyers who charge a reasonable amount, who actually give client-focused attention, and that's why my slogan, which you'll see everywhere, you'll be sick of it by the time you're done working on this project, is welcome to a firm that cares more, works harder, and charges less. So I could charge $250 an hour for my services, and I would get clients. I'm charging what might seem expensive. It probably does seem expensive to you. I'm charging $75 or $50. Or if they can't pay me for like 6 whole months, I might bill them at $125 an hour. All of that is way low. Can everybody afford that? No, they can't. Is it way better than what anyone else is doing? Yes, it is. But what I do is also better in terms of being client-centered. And it's things like this. For the initial consultation, when somebody wants to meet with me and just find out whether I think they have a legal claim, I give it to them for free without a time limit on it. I don't hold up a stopwatch when they're trying to tell me about their divorce. That's client-centered. It's client-centered that once someone signs my agreement, my fee agreement, if they call me and I don't call back in 24 hours, their whole representation is free. Because this is a law firm where even though it's just one lawyer, I'll be damned if I don't get back to my clients who I am representing. I go and travel to my clients when they can't come to my office. And the list goes on and on. And so I'm trying to make money, which I can still do at those prices. I don't have to be a millionaire, but I'm trying to make money. but I'm also trying to lead by example, and I'm also trying to call out other firms to lower their rates because they don't need that third car. And people do need that legal representation, and it's the right thing to do. So you're going to see a lot of content geared towards that, towards me being critical of the high prices and explaining how I do it differently. Um, I think I've just gotten across most of what I am about, what my law firm is about, and that matter. Now, I talked to you all a lot yesterday about, look, I've been using Upwork since it was Odesk. I've had a lot of great people on here, a lot of not so great people. Um, I've told you there's an opportunity here if I do well. If I don't do so well, then maybe there won't be that much of an opportunity, but I plan on doing well, and I could be using people long term. For now, it's more about building, but I'm not going to have time to run social media accounts. No way. No way. So I'd have to have long term help with that, updating the website, just making sure everything's in place. So this job could go on for a while, or indefinitely. But I'm somebody who tries to be fair, but I like things done quickly. Like when I say I need something done, I do like it to be done very soon. Um, and if you can't do it, I like to be told why. I have fired many people because I tell them to get something done by a certain time, and they contact somebody and find out they can't get it done by that time, and then they just don't say anything, and then the deadline passes, and that's just what can you do but fire someone under that. I look to see when things are going tough and you can't seem to figure something out, how you improvise and how you make it happen. Like, I'm interested in getting to know you all as people, but as far as this project goes, I'm really only interested in what you can pull off, what you can do, and how consistent you are. So be a little bit on edge when you're working. Not too much. Enjoy yourself a little bit, but you know, I am evaluating performance. That being said, don't rush. I'm smart enough to know if someone's trying their hardest or not. I'm going to know. And I know that is to seem somber or come down on you, but that's just the reality of this assignment. I'm looking to watch that things are getting done fast enough, because I could do almost everything here, but I don't have the time. I'll leave that for now. I think I've set that up like plenty far enough. Great opportunity here if you want to take advantage of it. But so that really brings us to, what are we going to be doing? And there's so many things that we're going to be doing. Now, some things aren't even on my horizon yet. I mean, there's just so many things. And the first thing that I'm looking at is my website. I want to keep it Avada. I saw the discussion earlier, but I don't want to change the theme, so I want us to work within the confines of this theme. And there's an awful lot of, just for starters, I want to, I don't want to get into that too much right now, because those are specific assignments that I'll give out. But there's a lot of tasks that range all over that have to do with the website. They include security, page speed, optimization of images for keywords, making a text more attractive on the viewport, so adding more pictures, headings, captions, cross-linking across the website, There should be a good bit of cross-linking. Um, I'll be giving a lot more content for you to then take it and make it look good and standardized and like my brand. But I'll give you more direction on that, just one thing at a time. But the website, there's just so much. There's so much. Another big one is social media. In this day and age, you're a fool if you don't use it. I've set up 8 social media accounts. Very fun, very standard. I haven't built them, developed them, gotten a fan base really. I've just put up the actual account. And I believe I've put up Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, LinkedIn, Google Plus, and I can't remember, maybe a few more. And each of them is used differently. And I'll be honest, I don't understand how to use a lot of them because I don't use them. I use Facebook. That's the only one I understand. So collectively, you all, I don't know whether I'm going to give one person all of them or split them up, but I want in their, Pinterest, I want in their own way for them to flourish a little bit, to get some eyes on the firm, so I can get some people who might want a lawyer. Like with Pinterest, as you might know, it's about setting up boards that are useful or funny, and they would be law related, of course, and we would talk about exactly how to do that. But I want these 8 social media accounts to pick up thousands of people, to thrive and to be a constant feeder source into my firm. So that eventually I have to do very little external marketing or advertising. That's a huge operation. Just 2 things that I said. And these are just the first things. Just to give you an example of a further down the line, a part of it, I want to start giving regular video blog, educational topics and charging people small amounts on YouTube and monetizing that in a way, which I'll talk about later, but that's over there for now. Another critical thing for right now that we are doing is I want you all to open up your web browsers, and I'd like for you to type in the search line 100 legal directories and hit enter, and you'll see the first thing that should come up, just 100 plus legal directories, the ultimate list of law firm directories. Directories, if you don't know, are just places where you list your name, people can see you, and then they can be your client. But the directories are all very different. Some aren't even really directories. They're more an exchange of leads for money. Or, some are paid, some are free. But you see here, there's about 100 of these directories here, each of which is an advertising and marketing source for a firm. If you go for a minute to Google again and type in the box Jackson Phillips Esquire, enter, and you'll see that I have some minimal SEO done, and you'll see a lot of these kind of things that come up. Here's the problem. I was in such a rush when I was making my company that I ran around joining these things, paying money for a lot of them, not even writing down which ones I had joined, which ones I hadn't, how much each one's cost, how long of an obligation I have. And for hundreds of these things, some of them I've done nothing at all, in which case I would want you to optimize the entire directory listing through the media that I gave you yesterday and more media that I'll give you in the future and more text that I'll give you in the future to put into the boxes. But it can't be exactly the same on all of them because that will hurt your SEO. But so you'll be looking at, if you go back to the 100 plus legal directories, and you see here, just I'm gonna go to the bottom, and the very, very bottom, and it says here, my legal practice. So this is just how we might do it. You click on it, and it'll be your task to find out whether I already have an account. That's number one. If I don't, the answer is that you'll make an account using all the tools that I'll give you. You'll be all my catchphrases, slogans, pictures, videos, all of that. You'll make that site. Let's check here. I'm on my legal practice, and I'm going to put in my name, Jackson Phillips, and it comes up. So I just found out that I already have a page here. And you open it up and you can see something that I wrote, a description, some pictures of me, hours. It's got a rating of, I didn't know that anybody had rated me, but apparently somebody gave me 5 stars, 1 vote. Another thing, that all of these should be linked to as many social media accounts as possible. Everything should be linked to as much as possible. So each one of these asks for different things, and filling out that directory is useful in different ways. And I want to basically have all of them, or many of them. And I'm going to give you, let's say that your next assignment might be to take 5 directories and finish them, which involves knowing my password and login if I've already created an account. If I haven't created an account, you can just create the account using my email. But we want to leave it so that I know what directories I'm paying for, how much I'm paying, whether it renews, and stuff like that, so that I can anticipate my costs. And that is a huge job, a really big job. And I'm just going to stop there in terms of the jobs, because there's more. There's a lot more that I want to incorporate, but just what I said, that will take our group a month, especially because in the beginning, I'm going to walk through a lot of this with you, so you can see how I would want it done, and I'm going to give you pretty comprehensive feedback on how you did on this one, or that one, or this task, or that task. That's what I'm going to do, and then until we're, we're meshing together. So right now, you have 3 different people, and you have 3 different skill sets. The things that I need to be done, ranging from search engine optimization to just going to a whole bunch of pictures and changing the alt tags, to adding in keywords, to me giving blog content and you making it look pretty and nice, putting in a bunch of subheadings and headings and pictures and all of that. There's all the directories I was talking about, and there's the social media accounts. I think people perform better if they're doing things that they like. So I want each of you to write me a paragraph, and that paragraph, I just want the first sentence, like, out of the things you've heard me say, is there anything you'd really like to do more? Maybe you want to work on the website more, the front end, the back end. Maybe you just want to go through and do a bunch of directories. It could be relaxing to go through and doing that. And even if you haven't heard me say something, what do you want to do? What can you give me the best effort in? What how can I best use you? Because that will change how I use you and how I use everybody else. So give me a sense of where you should be, where you belong in this project. And then I know you've all done it like 5 times, but in that email, in that message, put in your email again. And then I am today going to assign to you the website, your logons to the website. And actually, everybody, really quick, why don't you go to the website real quick? And it's just jacksonphillipsesquire.com. And I'm going there right now too. And just for what is some stuff that needs to be done here? Well, obviously there's an off-center header. I think the idea was that I was trying to embed a video in the right side, but couldn't figure out how to do it. I think that I like the way the text in the main header looks, the all caps, salmon color, but I think it doesn't set off well with the very top where it says 1407 Woodlawn Avenue. I think that needs to be a little bolder or thicker or something. I'm not sure. It needs to say practice areas in between the picture of the hands and the practice areas, because that's pretty obvious if you close that up and you see, practice areas. Just going down, I haven't had a chance to do many blogs yet, so that's something you'll be able to help me with. If you see here, contact, that's off-centered. It's shied towards the right of the box. It needs to be perfect. Everything needs to be perfect. I'm not looking for just good. And then down at the footer, there's no reason to have the footer be this big and have a logo here and information here, and at the bottom the social media. Condense it somehow into one skinnier row with all three of them: one on the left, one in the middle, one on the right. I pay attention to details. I don't like how big this brown border is on this picture of the books. It's too big. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's like that. And then if you just click on some other stuff, like you see, about Jackson. This was in, as you can see, it still has lorem ipsum. It just needs quite a good bit more work. That is not an about page. You need a heading at the top. You need to have more. You need to have a caption for the picture. It's got to look. I like pull quotes, but look, this pull quote has an opening quotes, but not an ending quotes. It just looks really bad right now, and it needs to look really good. And then practice areas needs to be developed quite a bit. I will get into that at a later time. But and then I want, of course, everything that I've said. But I think that when we're said and done, we're gonna have. Well, then we're just gonna move on to the next thing. But we're gonna have some flourishing social media accounts. You'll be engaging people on there. We're going to have the directory listings done across the board, all the big ones, and I'll know how much I have to pay for them because I'll have it all written down. This website is going to go from looking okay to I want it to be dazzling. I really want it to take people's breath away, and I think it has a good beginning, but there's just an awful lot more. I also want to incorporate other features onto the site, perhaps like a chat receptionist or something, but that's down the line further. And I could go on and on right now, but I think I'm going to stop for now with this, because I think this is probably giving you a better idea of what we're going to be doing. So you all let me know what you like to do out of this. Give me your email again. Once again, I will get you the logins for the website today at some point. And before I go to bed tonight, I'll have some opening. I'll start to go through some of the opening stuff with you guys. You can see how I want it done, and before long, it'll be in your hands entirely. And then I'll be able to practice law and actually, read. Uh, right now, I don't have time to practice law, so I'm looking forward to doing that. But for now, I think that's it. But I'll be in touch soon. Hopefully, this gave you a better picture.